Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be taking a look at an article by NFL.com analyst Bucky Brooks, where he analyzes and gives one X factor on each of the 14 teams that made the NFL playoffs. And there's going to be some guesses for who that X factor is going to be for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of you guys are going to end up being right, in my opinion, but we're going to go ahead and dive into it and talk about that player that Bucky Brooks selected for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and also talk about some other players that are going to be X factors in that game as well. But before we do so, I'm going to be saying this in the next couple of videos, so just, get used to it for, it's only going to be a few seconds, but partnered up with Foco, a company that has a ton of Tampa Bay Buccaneers products. If you guys click on the link in my channel description or in the pinned comment and go and use my code BucsNation10, you get 10% off on your order. Very affordable prices, very cool items here on display, be it shirts, bobbleheads, bags, bracelets, hats, anything along those lines. Foco has got you covered. So go check them out. Go use my code BucsNation10 for 10% off on your order, and go get yourself some Bucs gear. It would be a pretty cool thing. But guys, let's get back to the X factor here of the game. Firstly, you have a lot of different guys here, for the San Francisco 49ers, for the Dallas Cowboys, Tyron Smith is in there. For the Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs is in there. For the Bucs, it's Antoine Winfield Jr., according to Bucky Brooks. And that's not surprising to see, in my opinion. Antoine Winfield Jr. has been one of the best, if not arguably the best, at the very least, the most versatile safety in the NFL this year. At the very least, you got to say he's the most versatile safety in the NFL this year. He can get after the quarterback, he can stop the run, he can cover, he can tackle in open space, he can do everything that you want for a top player in the NFL. I'm not even just talking about a top safety, I'm talking about just a top defensive player, period. It really has been a fantastic year for Winfield Jr. He's going to get paid. I've said it time and time and time and time again. I think it's going to be by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's not surprising to see Winfield Jr. here as the team's X factor, because, yeah, it's going to be a big deal. You've got potentially A.J. Brown, potentially Devonta Smith, potentially Dallas Goedert, potentially Jalen Hurts, all going, and potentially DeAndre Swift, all going out there. That's a potent Eagles offense, right? And the Bucs are familiar with this Eagles offense going all the way back to week 3 earlier in the season, or was it week 4? One or the other. But point being is this, very different team for both the Buccaneers and the Eagles going all the way back to earlier in the season. Whereas the Buccaneers were very up and down, the Eagles were very up and then very down. So there's been a couple of big shifts here for both teams. And Winfield Jr. has been one of those big changes. He has continued to look better and better and better throughout every single game that he has played in this year. And yeah, he is going to be one of the most important, if not the most important player in this game. How he affects games, it matters. He really is a game changer by definition. And I know it sounds cliche, but that's just the only way to describe it. So it's not surprising. I think Winfield is going to have a big impact. The defense goes where Winfield does. When Winfield's having a good game, the defense has a good game. If Winfield might be a little bit off, you could see the defense be a little bit off also. So pay attention to Winfield. His play certainly matters. But some other guys that are going to be X factors, of course, quarterback Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask, depending on who is going to be the starting quarterback. Mayfield is dealing with some injuries right now. It has been, difficult, right? Mayfield got dealt the ribs injury against the Saints, got dealt the ankle injury against the Panthers, and yeah, he's banged up right now. And will he be able to play at his full capacity? We don't know. He is going to have that extra day of rest, which is fantastic in my opinion. That's certainly going to matter. But much like in the case of where the defense goes with Antoine Winfield Jr., you could argue, I don't even think it's an argument, the offense goes where Baker Mayfield goes. Baker Mayfield's having a great game, the offense is going to have a great game. Baker Mayfield's having a bad game, the offense is going to have a bad game. That's just kind of the way it is. There's been some instances where maybe a guy like Rachaad White has been able to take over the offense. He's another guy who's going to be a big X factor. And it's been good. But obviously you want your quarterback to go out there and, establish himself early and often as good play. So we'll see what Mayfield can do. Of course, there's a lot of other guys that you can talk about. I think that Levante David can be in there. I think that Mike Evans is going to be a big name to keep an eye out. Of course, I mentioned Rashad White in there. Devin White also, I think, is going to be a big guy. I may even say Yaya Diaby. Getting pass rush against this very stout Eagles offensive line is certainly going to matter also. I think that, you can say a lot of different guys, but at the end of the day, the Bucs need to play like a complete team. They need to. This is, of course, the playoffs. This is the big time. This is where the good teams go, hopefully, right? And you don't want to be one of those teams that gets into the playoffs and just absolutely folds and doesn't look like a complete competitive football team on the grandest stage of them all. We talk about primetime games, folks. It doesn't get more primetime than this. And we'll see how the Bucs respond. This is going to be a big stage for them. A lot of guys are used to this stage. Of course, a lot of guys are used to this stage now, especially how the past couple of years have been. But it always does play a factor. It always does. So we'll see if the Buccaneers are up to the case. We'll see if they do play some complete football. One of the bigger names who's going to be responsible for that, and if he plays well, you can see the team playing well as a whole also, is Antoine Winfield Jr. and some of the other guys that I mentioned, like Baker Mayfield, among others. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think Antoine Winfield Jr. is the top X factor for the Bucs in this upcoming playoff game, or do you feel it is somebody else? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about this down in the comment section below. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. A lot of content on the channel lately, by the way. I think I've uploaded 20 videos this month. We're only 12 days into the new year. Crazy, but I'm having a lot of fun making content. Hopefully you guys are having a lot of fun watching this content as well. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. As always, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.